Hello and great evening to all of you tonight, whether it is good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know that many of you will be watching this on the replay. Listen, I am so excited that you are here. And I do want to take time to say thank you to all of you who will be watching this on the replay. If you don't mind, when you're in the replay, feel free to do hashtag replay. And if you don't want to do that, feel free to write in the comments any questions or anything that you may have. I promise you that I will respond to you. So I say welcome tonight to Marcella and Friends. And of course, I am Marcella D. Moore. And as always, it is my delight and pleasure to meet with you on any given Monday or any given Tuesday, where I come and I have some of my amazing super friends join me. We talk about purpose, and then we give you some insight, or we give you a sneak peek into some amazing events that they have coming up, or some amazing products and services that they have to offer you. So I welcome you tonight. And if you are here, we encourage you to take a moment to say hello, take a moment to share this Facebook Live. We're on Facebook and we are on YouTube. So feel free to say hello and let us know that you are in the house. So please take a moment, share before I bring my super friend up on the stage with me tonight. I'm so excited that he is here. Y'all know most of the time I have my sisters here, right? And I've had my bishop here, and now I got my brother. He is joining me tonight, and we're going to do what we do, and that is talk about purpose and just to ignite you as it pertains to your purpose. And then we'll talk about some of the amazing things that he is doing. But before he comes, again, I'm going to ask you to take a moment. I see you, Pamela. Take a moment to say hello. Take a moment to share this video, because guess what? In addition to talking about purpose, we're talking about all things credit. So I'm calling it all things credit, but I know that my brother is going to share some things that will really help you elevate your life. We want to do better as people. We want to be the best version of ourselves. And so that's why I get excited when I get to present and to bring to you information and resources that will help you be the best version of yourself, spiritually, mentally, physically, however we need to move. So at this time, I am going to bring my brother to the stage, and I need you all to join me in welcoming. And I call him Brother Marvin. I call him Elder Marvin. We do work together in the ministry, but he's also my brother because I knew him outside of the church. We are New Brunswick born and raised, New Brunswick High School graduates. And so I call him Marvin, and some may know him as James Gray. So, Brother Marvin, thank you so much for making time tonight to join me on Marcella and Friends. I know that this was on purpose and in purpose for you to be here, because I know that you're doing some great things as it pertains to credit. But another thing that I know is that I've watched you evolve over the years. I've watched you grow. I've watched God stretch you. I watch you evolve. And I know that you have grown into an awesome man, and you are doing awesome things in the world. You are a servant, and I love that about you. You serve from your heart, but you also have some information to be able to give people in your own business that will help us be better in this world that we're living in. So before we talk about those amazing nuggets and amazing things that you have, and that you know, the insight and wisdom that you've learned and that you've experienced, that you've delved in over the years, tell my audience who James Marvin Gray is. Take a moment, please introduce yourself.
Oh, wow. What an introduction. Well, first of all, let me just say thank you to my sister, Marcella D. Moore. My sister, I'm excited about being here. That's number one. I'm excited. I'm excited for the things that you are doing. I'm excited for who you've always been. Oh my God. You've always been that caring, loving person who's always big on um, making sure that we elevate each other,
Amen.
right? And I think that's important. And come on now, New Brunswick heads, when you watch this, or as you're watching it now, you know that's important, right? On
Yes.
elevating each other, on keeping each other lifted up, right? Because for so many of us, the story could have been so different,
Yes.
so different, right? That's a whole other show, another time. I'm excited about being. I'm excited about being called a super friend. What? Super friend? Come on, here, somebody. I love it. I love it. I love it. But listen, if you're from the New Brunswick area, you know a little bit about me. Sometimes, I'm New Brunswick high school graduate, go Zebras all the way. Just celebrated. I won't tell all this, but it was my 40th year class reunion.
Wow.
Class of 84.
Years.
We still rocking. We still hanging in there.
Yes.
But just New Brunswick, born and raised. Um, just love my community, love the people of God, love those who are in this community doing some positive things, and just love helping people. That's just been me for so long, right? And so I'm just excited about being here. I'm just a little old guy just trying to do a little bit of something to help a whole lot of people. That's all I am. And I really do. I really do believe in each one teach one. If I can help just one person get their life better, make a difference in their life, I feel as though I have accomplished so much, right? And so for me, it's all about just helping other people in so many different areas, so many different areas. I look back over my life and I think about, like I said earlier, it could have been a different story.
Right.
A lot of our friends that we grew up with, right? They, some of them have passed away already, right? That could have been any one of us. I know so many people who have gone to jail, who have gone to using drugs and have not recovered from that, right? And so that could have been any one of us, but for the grace of God, here I am able to talk to you all today about purpose, about why God, and I asked myself this question some time ago, Sister Marcella. God, why did you keep me here?
Right.
When we went through COVID, we saw so much death and so many things going on. I was like, God, wait a minute. I didn't even get COVID. Thanks be unto God. But you kept me here amongst all these people that you decide, not that you, but that had to leave this earth. I'm still here. And for me, that let me know that there was a purpose to my life, right? I kind of felt as though I was, walking in it before, but it became more and more clear to me as I went through that period, as I went through that time, having to bury loved ones, even having to bury my own mom and having to transition through that. And, listen, it's going to turn into a whole church service. I'm a church boy at heart. So it can turn into a whole church service, but I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be here.
All right. So, and that's good. And I love that you shared your heart, but you need to talk about Marvin. What does Marvin do? Right.
Okay, sure.
What does Marvin do? First of all, I know Marvin is a father, right?
Yes.
Marvin is a father. Please tell us what you do and who
I'm gonna tell you everything.
You just shared your heart, which was amazing. Now tell us who you are.
So I'm gonna tell you who I am. I am this young Black man born in Rocky Mount, Virginia in 1966. Then my family came here to New Jersey, and I've been living in New Brunswick, New Jersey all my life, pretty much. I'm a father of one daughter, Jaleesa Kiel, who is a school teacher, thanks be unto God, who has 2 masters now, thanks be unto God. I'm an uncle to some great nieces and nephews. I'm the brother to one. If you're in New Brunswick, most people, know my brother Dwight. He goes around introducing me to everybody, even to this day. That's my little brother. That's my little brother right there. But I'm thankful to that. I graduated from the Brunswick High School, went to college, went down to Tennessee State, came back and went to the College of New Jersey and down in Trenton. Left there and went to work in financial services, worked at Merrill Lynch for over 30 years, right? And so most of my working background has been in financial services, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but this is really what really caused me to grab on to one part of my purpose. And I say one part of my purpose, right? Because I think there are other aspects of who I am that are also a part of my purpose as well. But one part I got so engrossed in financial services, especially as it relates to our community, right? Because, when you're growing up in our time, our parents say you go to school, you get a good education, you get a job, We stayed there 30, 40, some of them 50
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
Get yourself a house, get yourself a car. That's life,
Right.
right? Just work hard, do well. That's life. Um, but there were so many things that we were not taught. We were not educated on. Our schools didn't educate us on those things, and our parents didn't have the education for it either, right? When I talk about things like credit and investing and stuff like that, and so I was grateful for my journey of working at a place in financial services because I learned so much, and it really birthed in me my purpose of helping my community understand financial literacy, right?
Mhm.
It's more about going to work, getting that check, and then you spend it on everything. You got to save because you got to live later. So that was one aspect of me. Marcella, I don't even know if you remember this or know this. So I grew up in Tabernacle Baptist Church,
Mhm. That I know.
239 George Street,
Mhm.
New Brunswick, right? I grew up there. I grew up there. Um, when I was 8 years old, I joined the choir. As some of you might know, the Jenkins brothers, whatever. We all grew up together in the same church. Um, when I got to high school, my freshman year is when I accepted the Lord Jesus Christ into my life.
Mm.
And that happened. I don't even know if you remember this, but you and a couple of other your sisters were there at the high school.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I think Cope was going on. Y'all were part of Cope then, but
Mhm.
at the high school, and we were in the auditorium and we prayed there, and that's when I accepted the Lord Jesus Christ. So you were a big part of me accepting Jesus
Wow.
Christ
Wow.
into my life. So, when you get to that pearly gate, you at least got one. You got one, you got one.
Wow.
Yeah,
I did not remember that. That's what I'm going to say. I didn't remember that because it was so long. You talked about 40 years.
yes,
You graduated high school. So that
yes.
was long ago.
That
But
was a
those were
long time
and
ago.
but fun
You and your
times,
sister
man.
Connie, and
Yes.
yes,
Yes, those were
and
fun.
Donna. It was
Yes.
like all of them. So yes, that's when I accepted the Lord Jesus Christ in my life. And from that day forward, I've been trying to hold up the bloodstained banner and not lose my testimony. And it was really different in high school because you're in high school, all your
Yes.
friends who knew you from grade school, knew every fight you had and everything else. Like,
Mhm.
who is this person now? You talking about you a church boy and all this other
Right.
stuff, right? And so that was a pivotal point in my life, right? And I think when we talk about purpose, that was one of the things that kind of sparked me into getting to know more and more and more about my purpose and who I am and what I should be doing on this earth.
Right. No, that's awesome. That's amazing. And so the thing about it is that, we started this and I'm too from, young girl early on, um, coming to know and accepting God in my life, which was a part of my purpose. I had no clue because my parents were not church goers or anything like that. They sent me to church to go with my great aunts, but I had no idea that this would be when I was standing in that. I had to speak at Sharon Baptist this past Sunday and standing in that pulpit, realizing that I'm right here in New Brunswick, New Jersey, where I grew up. Even when I had to speak at Ebenezer before, it was the same thing. It was like, I grew up down the street from this church,
Yeah,
walking up,
yeah,
smoking cigarettes on the side of the building. Just,
yeah,
all these different things. And
yeah,
so I did not know, although I knew that there was something different about me because my parents didn't have the ability to articulate to me and be able to say who I was and
yeah.
what they saw in me and all of that. And I just
Hmm.
evolved and grew into who I am today.
Hmm.
And I thank God that I got that early on. It
Right.
doesn't mean that we had a perfect life. It doesn't mean that we stayed because I went to the military. I had the time of my life. I enjoyed life. I did a lot of things that my church family would probably not agree with, but I was a young person. I got in that, but I always stayed connected to God.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that's one thing that people forget when it comes down to purpose, when God's hand is on our lives, he calls us at when we first of all, we come to this world with purpose written all over us.
Yes.
Right? It's
Yes.
tattooed all over us.
Yes.
Purpose, we don't have to find it. We
Yes.
uncover it, we discover it.
Yes.
And it's on us. And even so, as we live this life and we make bad decisions, we make
Mhm.
mistakes, God has not changed his mind concerning the purpose he has on our lives. We
Not
just
at all.
come to terms with it and learn to forgive ourselves. I think
Yeah.
so many times we walk in shame and guilt that it kind of separates us, and we don't see ourselves the way that God sees us. So
Yeah.
it's been an amazing journey. So being just like you know, starting this thing out as a young person in high school, but I've lived life. I've seen things, I've been places, I've done things, and God is still good. God is still great. And I'm so grateful that I had the journey that I did, because it gives me the ability to relate with people the way that I do.
Absolutely. I really do believe this, and I know we can talk about everything here because I'm
Right.
with my good sister Marcella D. Moore. I really do believe that when the scripture says that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord,
Hmm.
he orders our steps. Now, what does that mean? That doesn't mean that every step that I take is going to be um not slippery sometimes.
Right.
It does not mean I'm not going to be on a rocky surface sometimes. It does not. I had my daughter out of wedlock. I was engrossed in church. I was I'm going to go way back now. I was the president of a 150 voice young people's choir. And here I come in there having a baby.
Mm.
And there were so many people who turned their nose against that, right? Because you know how sometimes we can be. And
Hmm.
all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's going to change his life. His life ain't going to be this and life ain't going to be that. But I'm so grateful to God that I decided to turn my will over to his will
Hmm.
and just walk this thing out. I struggled. I had some hard times. I had some battles, but I believe though, I really do believe it was all for his glory, but for my purpose. Because
Right.
I learned so much out of all of that. I learned how to mature. I learned how to I can't be selfish anymore. I got a child to think of. I learned how to grow up really, really fast and say, I'm not just going to work for myself now. I have a mouth to feed, right? And I also learned how to walk as a man. I promise you, I promise you this. It taught me how to walk as a man because I was so into making sure not that I was blameless, but that I could really not have any faults in front of my daughter.
Right.
It literally changed how I thought. I mean, again, it changed how I thought. It's unbelievable what happened to me, but I do believe that it was all because he had a purpose for me, and that I made a decision, right? Because even though he might have a purpose for us, we got to make a decision to walk this thing out.
Right.
I made a decision to say, okay, this is going to be hard. I've had some hiccups, but I'm going to continue to go on the way he wants me to go. Yes, I partied. Yes, I did. Now, I've never drank. I never smoked, but I partied. I did party, right? And so all that kind of stuff, but I never let that sidetrack me. Listen, growing up, I would be partying on Saturday night and then the choir stand on Sunday morning. And some of that is because I'm like you. My parents they were in church, but they weren't staunch goers, right? And
Right.
so they would make me go. They would make me go to Sunday school. And I
Same
had I
here.
had I had a dear cousin. She's passed away, but she always came to get me. She was saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled. She always came to get me. She made sure I was in there. And I'm telling you, to this very day, I am so grateful. When they say somebody prayed for me, I'm
Mm.
so grateful for every person that took a part in helping to develop and shape who I am today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every one of them, because even the little things, and we get older now. We get old now. We start thinking about what the older folks used to say.
Yes.
Even the little things they used to say to us, right? Like, and just everything she say to us, and how I'll be like, oh my God, mommy and daddy would have just said that. I
Yeah.
sound just like them now. It's like, but I understand what they were doing. You know, that generation was always about, you guys need to be better than us. You need
Yeah.
to do more than us. You need to go
Yeah.
on further than us. So I get it. And so now that's what I try to send on to my daughter and my nephews and nieces. And now I have a great nephew. Yeah, I try to put that on to them, right? I want you to go further than I did,
Yes.
right? I did not finish college, but my daughter went on to get 2 masters, right?
Yeah.
And so the things that we did not achieve, the purpose in us will help propel those who are following us to get some of the stuff that we probably should have attained,
Right. Right.
right? But we pushed them to do it. So, I'm just thankful to God for every little step. Was never easy. Still even to this day, it's not
Yeah.
always easy.
Yeah.
But I noticed that God did something in me. I don't know what it is. I don't know when he decided to turn this little clock on, or light on inside my life, that I would be um um really take on this mantle of being a servant, right?
Right.
Of helping people more than I do. Right. And I think it started with my grandparents, my grandmothers. For both, I went to live with them when they got sick, and I just started taking care of them in their time, right? And then my parents, as they got sick, my dad had cancer. I was be at home with him and taking care of him. Then my mom, it's just something inside of me, and so now I've just carried that on to my church life. I
Yeah.
feel as though, right? And so, but I love it though. I wouldn't change it for the world. Like I look forward to. I get tired sometimes, but I look forward to those times of, I call them ministry of helping others, right?
Right.
Because there's a ministry of help. So I do call it ministry, even in finances, educating people on what they should do, with their finances, their credit, just helping them to understand how much more of a life you can live if you get other aspects of your life straightened out. I feel like I'm talking too much. Ask me a question, do
No,
something.
but that's good because no. So one thing that I love about you sharing your heart right now. You talking from your heart, and it gives people an opportunity to see you, and especially the type of work that you do outside of it. Because you're like me, we both have full-time jobs. My
Yeah.
girlfriend calls them silent investors,
Yeah.
but we also do ministry on the side. We also do business on the side.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to do. So we do a lot, and people get to know you by hearing your heart. And
Yeah.
so not we could just come on here and I could just say, some Marvin, start talking to me about credit, stuff
Yep.
like that. People get to hear your heart. They get
Yeah.
to hear who you are. And
Yeah.
then that means they can trust you in terms of the different things that you're getting ready to share with them
Hmm.
about credit, finances,
Right.
whatever the case may be. So no, it's a good thing to hear your heart. It
Yeah.
goes a long way, and it says a lot about your character, your integrity. And see, I only have people here that are next to me on this screen who are people of integrity, because integrity means so much to me. That's one of my
Yeah.
core values. I live for integrity. Integrity is everything for me. There are other
Listen,
things as well, but integrity is in my top 5.
integrity has to be big.
Hmm.
In today's age, there are so many. I just had this conversation yesterday with someone. There's so many scammers out here.
Yeah.
Finding integral people, whether they be in church, in business, on your jobs, even in your homes. Listen, listen to me. If you don't do anything else in this life, be a person of integrity.
Hmm.
I've learned over the years that even if I can't do something, I let people know that I cannot do it.
Right.
I'll let them know I'll get you an answer from someone else, right? But be a person of integrity. If I say I'm going to come through, I'm going to come through. If I say I'm going to visit, now unless something comes up that does that, okay, I couldn't make that today, but guess what? I got you tomorrow. I'll be right over there, right? You got to be a person of integrity. Goes a long way. It makes people trust you, right? And then I don't know about anybody else. I feel good about myself when
Yes.
I lay my head down on my pillow, that I was able to display my integrity and help somebody out, or just do things on the up and up the right way, to get somebody the help that they needed. And I feel good about myself when I lay down, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
about how I carry myself in that regard, right? And you talk about financial services, and I grew up in financial services, of course, working there. People get real shaky about their money, real
Mm-hmm.
shaky about their money, right? They do now, justifiably so, because
Yeah.
people work hard, right? And they're trying to make ends meet and whatever else have you. So they real. So for me, I don't want to ever play around with someone else's money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that because that's their livelihood. That's how they feed their family, make sure their homes are well. So for me, when I went to work in financial services, everything that I've learned, I try to bring back to our community,
Mm-hmm.
right? And help educate people and say, listen, if you do this way, I'll give you an instance. There's, of course, people that know me, they know I do work with credit. I help people repair their credit, right? And so I had somebody call me last week, say, I need to be done real quick because I need to get to that. I said, well, over here, I don't have no schemes for you. I don't have no quick fixes for you.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get into this situation overnight. I can't get you out overnight. I know what they were asking. They asked me, go do this and do that. I don't do the illegal stuff. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
I'd rather serve you with integrity. So that way, there's no questioning me or you if it ever comes up, right? Your credit is fixed the way it's supposed to be. I've served you with that integrity, and we can move on. But I'm just big on integrity. I'm big on people being honest and open and just serving people with the truth,
Right.
serving them with the truth in every aspect of life. I don't care what it is you're doing, in every aspect of your life. You ought to be serving your family with the truth, serving your friends with the truth. And sometimes the truth is not comfortable, but what I have learned is that when you do it that way, people tend to thank you more at the end of the day
Yeah.
for giving them the truth, for serving them with integrity, and just for being somebody that's above board.
Yeah. And it's real. So
Yes.
that going back to that, you're not talking too much. You sharing your heart. So
Yeah. And
that being said, though, this is a perfect segue into. So tell me, what is the name of your business? What do you do? What do you offer? And tell us why what you do is so important.
sure. So right now, today,
Mhm.
my name, my business, my professional name with my LLC and everything else is JMGE Professional Services, James Marvin Gray Eubanks. So a lot of people in New Brunswick know me as a Eubanks, right?
Right, right,
Eubanks, right? Professional Services. But under that umbrella, right now, I'm doing credit repair services. I'm now in a class and training so that next year I can start offering doing taxes, right?
right.
And then I'm also getting my license for notary, right? Because I do want to be a full suite of products of financial services for our community. Because
Mhm.
I've seen so many times in places where, we've been, and, it is what it is, ripped off.
Right.
People just do it for the money, right? And I tell people all the time, when you come to, to me and you want to get your credit fixed, I'm not only going to help you repair it, I'm here to educate you so you don't go back down this hole again, right?
Right.
And that's not what we see with a lot of people. They say, I'll fix it for you, and they charge an exorbitant amount of money. And then a year and a half later, you're right back in that same boat again because nobody ever shared with you how to get it right, right? And how to keep it that way. And so that's what I'm offering right now is credit repair service. In a couple of months, I'll be doing taxes. And then after that, I'll be doing notary. But, the reason why I love going to financial services because I learned so much that I could bring back to my community.
Yeah.
I spent those 30 years at Merrill Lynch. And this goes into my purpose, right? And I think this is why God, you know, part of why God kept me here and keeps me here. Because I've always been, even when I was working, I was always been, God needed somebody who was in the business world.
Right.
He needed somebody he can trust in the business. He needed a light. He needed an example in the business world. And I was so fortunate a couple of weeks ago, I went to Bishop Jake's As a Man Thinketh conference. And one of the sessions they had a daytime session, and it was a bunch of businessmen who were believers in the Lord Jesus Christ and followers of the Lord Jesus Christ. And one of the guys was a billionaire.
Mm.
And I love that so much because God needs representation in the business world, in the financial world, that number one is going to serve with integrity, but is a follower of Him, but it also can show us how to build our finances, how we don't have to be living beneath our means, right?
Right.
How we can have more because there's so many things more that we want to do into helping others. So for me, going to the Marylands, learn all that stuff, getting my Series 7, learning how to invest and read the stock market and doing those things, like those things became implanted in me. And so those seeds that were planted in me, now they're sprouting out. Now, I'm able to help other people in their finances and do what they need to do to better their lives and get better for their families and to just not be struggling from day to day and just barely trying to make what we call making ends meet, right? And so for me, it's just, that was part of my stepping stone to
Mm-hmm.
what my purpose really, really was. And I did not know that that was going to be this way until I'd come years through financial services. And then the light just came on. I was like, I love this so much. I love the stock market. I would read the Wall Street Journal like every day. I couldn't wait for that Sunday paper that was about that thick
Yeah.
to come out. And I'm reading all this stuff about businesses and how to grow and everything else. So, I believe He put me in that place so that part of my purpose will be I can share that with those who did not know that information,
Mm-hmm.
right? And God just blessed me to be able to now turn that into a business, right? And I always tell people, it's a great business, but I'm not in here necessarily because of the money. Because I really tell you, honest, goodness truth, I give more deals. Don't fight me on this. I give more deals. We're trying to help people out because I want to see people blessed. I want to see them help. And so I wound up cutting my costs and everything else. And I know, other business people say, stop doing that and da da
Right.
da. But it's just a part of who I am, right? And so that's been birthing me to bring that back to our community. So I do spend a lot of time going out to organizations, to other churches. They'll bring me in and they'll have me, talk to the leadership, about credit, about finances, whatever have you. And I love doing that type of stuff, right? I was fortunate to do a couple of sessions in Brooklyn, New York, to single women. These were women who had never had a bank account, right? They were on Section 8. And I know Section 8 and all this kind of stuff, you can only have a certain dollar amount in your account and all this other stuff. And just teaching them the things about going into a bank and opening your account. Because when you go to a check cashing place, they charge you all this money
Mm-hmm.
to cash your check. So now you're losing some of your money. But then you don't even have a regular checking or banking account you can call your own where you can save up, right, to get your family, yourself to the next level. So I love doing all that type of stuff. It's just a part of who I am. It's part of my heart, along with just wanting to help people be better and do better. And especially, and I know you are so good at this, and I thank you so much for this, especially my brothers,
Mm-hmm.
because statistics will show you that women, they're quick to start a business. They will get out there and start a business, right? They're the first ones to get in line and get their finances right. But for some reason, our brothers, we just a little slow at it, right? And I want to help us get to a better place in how we manage our finances, how we look at our finances, right? And how to grow our finances. I tell people all the time, listen, if you're not happy where you are, let's talk about how you can get more, right?
Right.
There's things that you do that you're good at doing. Tap into making that a business for you, right? Or there are things that you are doing that you should not be doing, that you're wasting a lot of money and effort on. How do
Yeah.
you come out of that and make sure you are walking in the purpose that is designed for you? How do you see that purpose? How do you tap into it? And of course, you cannot talk to me and you on this call without me ever saying the first thing you got to do is you got to talk to God.
Right.
You got to listen. The first thing I did, I put God in my business.
Mm-hmm.
God, what is it you want me to do? What is it that you want me to help people achieve? How do I deal with people? How do I, deal with not just blacks, but whites and anybody else that might come my way, right? How do I deal with people? Because as a Christian, we got to be a lover of all people, no matter the skin color, right? And so,
Mhm.
how do I deal with people? But especially in our community, I want to make sure our community, our fellas, our brothers, we rise up, we get elevated. And how we do that, there are many steps to it, but there's so many things that we, in our finances, we got to get right. Because the statistics will also show you two things, right? It's one of the top priorities in marriages, finances, right?
Mhm.
And there's nothing like a man feeling more emasculated than he cannot provide.
Right.
He cannot provide. So I love educating my brothers and how do we get it right? How do we come up a little bit more so that we get rid of all those feelings, right? And we get rid of that. And if we do some of that, it'll help curb the anger that's within us, right? It'll help bring down some of the stress and the high blood pressure that a lot of us are going through because our finances are just not in the right place, But yeah, you just got to tap into who you are in God. You got to talk to God. You got to talk to God. I really do believe that. I believe that I would not have been in the purpose that I am in today if I had not spent some time talking to God.
Yeah.
Talking to God.
Yeah. Yeah. You just said a mouthful. And so for me, I love men. Like I say that all the time and people take it the wrong way. I love men. I love because I believe, and sisters, they get me when I say this, that a man is the closest thing on earth next to God. God
Hmm.
created man first.
Hmm.
And so I believe that this society has been intentional about demeaning, especially men of color.
Absolutely.
And so if our brothers get in place and our brothers rise up, if our brothers understand the power of who they are, it changes everything. And
Hmm.
so the system is designed to keep the man down. And
Yep.
they do make it easier, even though the black woman is the most disrespected being on the earth.
Hmm.
Women still have, even though we get less than the man and all of that stuff, they still have an open door for us, an open path for us to be able to do things better.
Yeah.
They'll tell a woman, okay, the government will say, we'll help you, we'll give you money, but you can't have a man living with you.
Yep.
We could give you Section 8, but you can't have a man living with
Yeah.
you. So they encourage the so-called independence
Yeah.
of women to be able to rely on them and not building up our brother.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
brother, the whole system, the whole injustice system
Yep.
is created to keep our men down. So that's
Yeah.
why it's so important. And for me, I'm going to always push my brothers. I'm going to always ignite. I don't care what you've done, because God doesn't look at all of this. This is the stuff that we do to ourselves. And I
Yep.
encourage brothers to forgive yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
When you forgive yourself, it opens up the doors for you to be able to receive so many different things. You can't
Yep.
go back and change what you've done in the past. You can't go back and change the decisions that you've made.
Yep.
You can't go back and switch the woman who you had a baby with. You
Yep.
can't, even though you wish you could, you can't go
Yep.
back and change any of that.
Yep.
But you can start creating new things for yourself. And it's just by finding the right people to get connected with.
Yeah.
Find the right people, it's a game changer for your life. So I love the fact that your brothers are, in addition to loving, to be able to bring people up in financial arena and all of that, that you have a heart for your brothers.
Yeah.
If we get together, if our men get together, look, it's nothing as
Nothing we
people
cannot do.
that we can do, regardless of the government, regardless of who gets into the presidency, regardless and all of that. Our men are amazing. I love men, and I love the
Amazing.
strength of a man, and I just believe in the power of who men are, and so I just love that. So
I
let me
agree.
ask you this. So I'm a brother, and
Hmm.
let's stick to the brothers.
Yep.
Ladies, I know you on here tonight. I love y'all. We talking this, but I need you all to hear this so that you can get a heart and sense of for some of the things that our men go through as well. So
Hmm.
I'm a brother. I'm in my 40s, my 50s, and I haven't lived the best life. And I'm like, you know what? I got a job, and it's paying me enough.
Yeah.
do here and there, but I really don't have the things that I want to do. And I wish my life could be better, but I'm too embarrassed to even say to somebody that somebody told me my credit is 350, or
Yeah.
somebody told me that I'd never be able to own a home, or somebody told me that. What would you say to that brother right now?
The first thing I would say is we're gonna remove that word never out, right? I am a witness that God is the orchestrator of possibilities that are boundless. I'm a witness to it, not just in my personal life, but in others, right? And so the first thing I would say, let's remove that word never, right? And then I want to have a conversation with my brothers about the things that you can tap into. See, because okay, thank you, Lord, for that dropping into my mind just now. This is what Bishop says. A lot of time, my bishop says I go to Abundant Life Family Worship Church. If you don't know that already, and my bishop always says this. He says God created us with creativity
Mm-hmm.
so that we can be creative in our creation.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers, there's so much creativity in you. There's so much. And we just have to learn how to tap into that creativity. What I say to you before, I said, if we can learn to tap into things that we like to do, I
Right.
I fell in love with money and I liked everything about finances. So that's why I got on this road, right? There's so many brothers out there. You're great at being auto mechanics, right? This brother, I got to give a big up to one of my brothers. He just gave me he baked me banana bread. And I tell you, that banana bread was so good. It was delicious, right? I'm like, you need to tap into your skills of doing
Right.
this. There's so many things that are inside of us that we don't know that can be a blessing not only to others' lives but to our lives,
Mm-hmm.
both um spiritually and economically, right?
Right.
It can be a blessing. So we got to tap into that. And what I would say to my brothers is that, listen, if he if you see me do it, you can do it.
Mm.
I don't care what age it is. There are so many examples of men and women being 40, 50, 60 years old who are out here living their best lives and started when they were 40, 50, and 60
Yes.
years old, right? So if they can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. God is no respecter of persons. If he did it for me, he'll allow you to do it as well, right?
Yes.
And so you have to start thinking that way. You got to start thinking. Here's the other thing. Um, I don't want to get this quote messed up, but I'm gonna paraphrase a little bit for this one right here. Um, you got to start hanging around people who are doing better, who are doing
Yes.
what you want to do, who are doing. That's the one key thing I found, Marcella. I promise you. I started hanging around people who were where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Love my friends. Some of them, like I just said, at the high school, we've been friends forever. But they're the friends for that. But then I
Right.
have friends for my business, right? Who I hang around, who teach me all the things that I need to. Sometimes they don't say a word to me. It's me just looking, me observing. We're about to have a men's conference. That's not a shameless plug. We are about to have a men's conference. We are. And Abundant Life Family Church. That's not a shameless plug. But one of the things that the overall mantra of it is men in the room.
Mm.
Listen, you got to get in the room. And sometimes you being in the room, sometimes for me, being in the room was not about me talking. It was about me listening, me absorbing, me just taking stuff in, right?
So,
And so,
Mark, let me interrupt you just for a second with that particular thing right there.
mhm,
And so, in order to what I find out, it happens to men and women. When you say you got to be around people where you are, you got to get in the room, that means you have to stop telling yourself that you don't belong in the room. You have to stop telling yourself that you're not worthy. You
yeah,
have to stop telling yourself and engaging in all of this negative talk and mindset, because those are the things that will keep you out of the room. If
Yep.
you get an opportunity to be in the room, that means you belong in the room. You may not have what they have. You may not talk like they talk. You may not see how they see. But the fact that you are in the room and you are at the table, that means you belong there. So you have to see yourself. You got to get the mentality in your mindset. You got to say, you know what? If I'm here, and I may not be there right in this moment, right now, but I am getting there. And because of that, it's the whole mindset
It's
thing.
the
So, and I
mindset.
had to interrupt you there because so many people, they hear you, yeah, go around this one and go, but I don't deserve to be around them, or I ain't got what they got, or I'm shameful, or I'm guilt. You got to get rid of all of that. And you
You
got to say,
really
you
do.
know what? I don't have it right now, but it's coming.
Yeah.
That's the reason I am here now. So go back. I just need to
Listen, no,
say
no,
that.
no. I'm so glad you said that because there were so many times that I was feeling as though I did not belong in the room. Early part of my career, early part of my career, I promise you, I probably should have been let go a couple of times. I don't know where it clicked in. Although my father said, "You ain't gonna be laying around my couch," whatever. He's like, but somewhere it clicked in. But there were so many times I felt as though I did not belong in the room. I did not measure up. I was sitting at table with people who knew much more about the financial world than I did. And then I started, I got promoted, just from being an agent to being, to being a supervisor. And once again, I didn't feel like I was worthy to be at that table, to sit in that room. Then I got promoted to being a manager. And once again, and I'm sitting and oh, thank you, Lord. Here's another thing that happens to us, right? Sometimes at some of the tables that I sit around, some of the rooms that I'm in, and some of you, I'm sure, can relate to this. I'm the darkest one in that room.
Mm-hmm.
So now I feel a little even more like, okay, I'm the only person of color, the only black man sitting at this table. And all of a sudden, I'm around all these different people, and it's like, and they might even stop to me, ask a question, and sometimes I felt like I just didn't know. But I will never ever forget. I had worked myself up the ranks at Merrill Lynch. I had just gotten promoted to VP. I'm saying this for a reason. And we had this meeting, and so I had to do a presentation at this meeting. They were big on PowerPoints and all this other stuff. So I put all that together, and I came in there in that room on that day to do a presentation with people who were above me, first vice presidents, president, whatever, da da da, and my peers as well. I walked in the room. I had on a full suit, tie, everything. I got my shoes shined. I will never forget this. Never forget this. A gentleman who was probably 2 levels above me, I think he was first vice president at that time. He stopped me when I walked in the room, and he looked me up and down. He said, "I don't even care what you have to say." He said, "Your whole presentation means I'm going to go for it." Right? And I did that because I wanted to take some of the weight off what I had to present. And I always tell myself, before you go into this room, make sure you are aware of what you want to say, what you want to do, but you belong in this room. Somebody thought enough of you to tap you on the shoulder. Again, I don't even care if they thought enough of you to tap me, so just come sit and listen. You're in the room now. You belong there. Throw away the guilt, the shame, everything of your past. Throw that all away. Throw it all away. I don't care what anybody remember what you did. The fact that you're in the room now means that there's a place that's been set aside, designed for you to be there. Right. And so you got to take that opportunity. So when I say that type of stuff, I mean, get around people who will invite you in the room, who will open that door for you to come in the room. And then, like I said, when you get in there, sometimes it's not always about you. Sit there, listen, glean sometimes,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of tables I sit at. There's nothing for me to say. Now, if they come to me with a question, I might, ask a question, whatever. But sometimes just sitting, I'm just taking it in. I'm just taking it in. I'm learning. I'm absorbing things because I don't know when I'm going to have to use it later on down the road, right? But for my brothers, the fact that you opened your eyes this morning
Come on now.
The fact that you were able to get up, whether you could stand on your own 2 feet or you had to crawl into a wheelchair, the fact that you have a reasonable, as the old saints used to say, portion of your health and strength, a little bit of your right mind. There's a purpose that is inside of you that God did that for you. I just want you to tap into what that purpose is. And it may not be the same purpose that I have or just somebody else has. There's something designed especially for you. Brothers, I love you enough. For those who I hear this, for those who will replay this, I love you enough to let you know that you are loved so much that every morning he wakes your eyes, that opens your eyes, there's a chance for you to do something else, do something greater, to be more than what you are today, and to help somebody else. And to help somebody else. So never ever think that you are not worthy. Never. I don't care if you've been to jail 15 times. I don't care how much weed you smoke, because now weed smoke is the end thing now. But
Right.
I don't care how much you smoked, how much you drank. There is still a place for you. There's still a purpose in you that is yet for this world to see. I always use the example sometimes, people's like, well, I don't know, if I can do this and nobody's going to come to me. Listen, when you go into a grocery store and you walk down that cookie aisle, there are 15 makers of chocolate chip cookies. You hear what I say? Chips Ahoy is not the only one. There's Nate's.
Right,
Let me call him out, my greedy self. But there's so many. So that means that there's room on the shelf for you as well. There's room for you. I don't care who else is doing it. Nobody that's offering credit repair services is going to do it like James Marvin Gray. I don't care who it is. They might have some of the same services, but nobody's going to offer you the same thing that I offer you, right? So there's room for you to do what God has purposed in you to do. You just have to tap into that purpose. And then when you feel as though you don't know what that purpose is, go to God. What do? What's purpose? Purpose is the original intent for the creation of a thing. Mm-hmm. Oh my Lord, Marcella. I'm quoting him too much now. Purpose is the original intent for the creation of a thing, right? So you never ask the thing, you ask the creator. Go to the creator. Go to your Lord, your Savior. Ask him, God, I know that there's something that's inside of me that you want to bring out of me to help others. Mm-hmm. Tap into that purpose. And when you can't tap into it, ask other people to help you, to pray for you, to help you find that purpose. And for God's sake, never feel as though that you lost out on your opportunity. There's people that at the 80 years old going back to college.
Yes. Yep.
We see it all the time. It's never too late. As long as you are breathing, you have an opportunity to do what you would love to do what God has called you to do.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. And I pray, brothers, whether you're here live or listening to the replay, I pray and I hope that you were inspired by that, motivated by that, and empowered by that. And I want to tell you that if you are struggling with anything, if you're trying to be better, you trying to be better in your life, and you know that your credit is a major part of that. That's the system in the world that we live in. We can't get rid of it, right? Yeah. And you want to explore that, and you want to get better concerning that. Get in touch with Marvin. Let Marvin help give you a path and a plan that will help you get from where you are to where you really want to be. The fact that you are here, that you are still here, that means that God has something for you. And there's no story, because there's someone who is going through what you're going through. There's someone who is going through what you've been through. And you have a testimony, and you have the ability to share your story that will help someone else. So nothing that you have been through or going through will be wasted, because you have the opportunity to give that to someone else. So you can change your life. You can be better. You can look better. You can grow better. You can talk better. You can live better. You can be better. And the fact that you've heard this and you're listening to this, that lets me know that you are right where you're supposed to be, whether you hear live
Absolutely.
or listening to the replay, because this is real talk.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
This is real talk. There is no one who is perfect in this world. If you're perfect, then that's your transitioning moment, because people thinks everything is perfect, but the thing is, when you show up, it becomes imperfect. So we are all imperfect. All
Yeah.
of us are. We all got skeletons in our closet. We've all made mistakes. We all can be better than what
Absolutely.
who we are today.
Yeah.
I just really want to encourage you all. I didn't know it was going to go this direction in terms of us highlighting these brothers, but I think that God loves his men so much, right? And he
Absolutely.
wants to see you all in an amazing place. And I tell you, I love me. I got a son, I got a brother. I love me, and I want to see all men do better,
Yeah.
because I know that when our men get in alignment,
Yes. Absolutely. And we have a chance to change the narrative for our brothers, right?
yes,
Sometimes I look at the news, sometimes I look at what's going on around the country, and I look at what's going on just in our local area. And I'm saying, God, we got to do something to change this narrative, right? Because number one, not all brothers are bad,
that's
right? Now, all of us have made mistakes.
that's
Every
right.
one of us have made mistakes. It don't mean we're all bad. And even the ones that you might think are bad, right? They're just, been in some places where they've been misguided or didn't have the right information, or somebody has beat them down, right? With words or whatever. But brothers, there is so much room, and I'm with Marcella on this. I almost called you elder. I'm such a churchy person. I'm with Marcella on this. I'm with her on this. I really, really am. There is so much room, so much potential in all of my brothers. So much that if we take our rightful place, if we can just change and adjust some of the small things in our lives, society, your family, your children will look at us so much more different. So much more. And I always tell people, I see, of course, I work out a lot too, right? And so I see a lot of brothers in the gym. They just good about working out. And they get in there every single day, and they do all kind of stuff, and they work out hard, and you could tell it in their body. But I said, if you can have that dedication there,
Right.
you can have that dedication over here in other things,
Yeah.
right? You just got to put your mind to it. You put your mind to go to the gym every single day and work out, and you put your mind to eating right all the time. So you can do all that. So you can do the same thing with your finances. You can do the same thing with your spiritual life. You can. You really, really can. There is nothing that you cannot do. And I just believe that when the men of this earth, especially my African American, um, dark skinned colored brothers, especially when we stand up, so many other things, so many people in our community will stand up with us. When we decide within ourselves that we're going to change the narrative that has been displayed on the news and everywhere else about us, I believe that there's going to be such a change in the earth when that happens. But not just in the earth, in your individual homes first, right? Or I'll go back one more place, in your individual lives first,
Yes.
right? And then your homes, whether you're single parent, married, whatever, you know, uh, it's we can talk about this all day. I know we got to move on, but listen, when my brothers get it right, I'm telling you right now, we're going to change the narrative of this earth, when we finally take our rightful place. And listen, and the world, the world's waiting to see us stand up. It really is waiting for the men to stand up. It really is.
No, and that's real talk. And the last thing I'm gonna say to the brothers, I need y'all to stop being so mad. Stop being so angry. Stop blaming everybody. Be a part of your own rescue, right? Because nobody is coming to fix it for you. Nobody is coming to save you from none of that. Make a decision. Just say I want better, and
Hmm.
let go of everything that has weighed you down, because it's not working for you, right?
Right,
How's that working for you?
right.
Stop being so angry, and again, forgive yourself and forgive them.
Yep.
Forgive
Yep.
them.
Yep.
Everybody. Just forgive everybody who's done things, because just forgive. And then that forgiving yourself, forgiving them, it just opens a path.
It does.
Amazing things.
It
And we
does.
just gotta stop being so mad and angry and bitter and all of that stuff. We just gotta let it go because it harms us. It doesn't hurt us.
It really
It
does.
does it blocks us up. It blocks our blessings. It really
Hmm.
does.
Yeah.
So
And
it's-
and then we tend to bleed that out on other people,
yeah,
right? And that's not fair to them, and it's not even fair to you either, right? Get healed from that. Really. Get delivered from it, get healed from it, right? And then find some other things to take the place of all that anger and that bitterness that you had, right? Find some things that bring you joy. Because as Marcella said, it's what good has this done you to this date? Is gotten you nowhere. Is, you know, try something new. Try something new,
try
right?
something
Take a
new.
chance on you, right? There's a clothing brand out there, and they have a sweatshirt I like right now. It says, "Bet on yourself." Bet on you. I guarantee you, if you bet on you, if you take a chance with yourself, you're gonna find you are an amazing person that can do some amazing things, right? And that's gonna influence some amazing people in your life. But we just have to, and I'm not patting myself on the back when I have so many people that walk up to me, and say, "Oh my God, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for that. You are this." It's nothing about me. It's all about God, but it's all about the fact that I stepped into the purpose which He called me here to be.
Yes.
I really have. And so when I do that, right, I'm helping to influence others. And hopefully, like I said, each one teach one.
Yes.
Hopefully, like I said, if I can help change one person, then guess what? I've already done a lot. Because my prayer is that one person's going to go help change somebody else, and so on and so forth and so on. But my brothers, I want y'all to stand up. I want y'all to be encouraged. Like Sister Marcella said, get rid of the anger, the bitterness. Just let it go. Listen, you had that baby out of wedlock 40 years ago. Let it go. Let it go. The baby mama is the baby mama. I hate to use that word, but we are where we are. Let it go. Let it go. It's not doing you any good. Now it's time for you to stand up and do the things that God is calling you to do and really tap into your purpose and to grow and to help others grow.
Yes.
I'm
No,
sorry,
that's
Marcella. You can't give me the
that's good. We gotta go because you gotta
I
go.
gotta go.
I do want to read this. Pamela said this comment I want to read. She said, ladies also need to build the brothers up and sometimes give them that push they need in a loving way. And I believe
Absolutely.
that. Not all
Absolutely.
women believe that, but I believe that. Because
Absolutely.
I believe the right man and the right woman, can open up
Absolutely.
the Red Sea.
Come on, see. Come on here. Part the waters. Come on here.
The fortune warners. I believe that with all my heart. I do.
Absolutely.
Every woman doesn't believe that. So it's okay. But find
Yeah.
the right woman, get around the right people, not just the women, get around good brothers who can
Yep.
help elevate you and lift you up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Marvin, thank you so much for taking time to be with us tonight. Again, I didn't know it was going to go this direction, but I love the direction it went because God loves his men, and that's
Yes.
reality, and that's
Yes.
real talk. And so, please tell people how they can get in contact with you. And I'm looking forward to some men rising up saying, come on, brother, I need you to help me. Give me this information. Give me this wisdom, this insight so that I can get my stuff together, so I can get the car that I need, so I can get the house that I need, so I can be a better person
Yeah.
and just continue living my life. So please let us know how we can get in touch with you.
Sure. Well, of course, you can reach out to me on Facebook, James Marvin Gray, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at James_Marvin_Gray. I don't know if you want to put that in the chat, whatever. Listen, reach out to me. I will, like I said to myself before, I never got into any of this because I wanted to make a whole lot of money. Yes, God has blessed me to turn it into my own business. But just reach out. If you just want to have a consultation, just say, hey, here's where I am. Any thoughts on how do I get out of this, right? How do I do this? I do that a lot of times, right? Give you a consultation, not just about your credit, but about all things finances, right? I'm a big proponent that everybody should have a savings account. a checking account. I always be, no matter how much you make, you ought to put $2 away, $5 away, something to save. You really should,
Right.
you know. So just reach out to me on any one of those platforms. And if you're ever in the New Brunswick area, come down to 259 George Street at the Abundant Life Family Worship Church. I am there on Thursdays and Sundays most times if I'm not traveling around somewhere. But come on down there. I'm always approachable. Tap me on the shoulder. You see me in New Brunswick all the time in a store or whatever. Just reach out to me. Like Sister Marcella said, I'm here to help you. Of course, credit right now is my specialty, right? So if you need help with your credit scoring, I always tell people, the conversation I have with any of my clients, that stays between us. That
Right.
stays between that's your business, and you don't have to tell anybody else your business. And you certainly don't have to worry about me telling anybody else your business, right? So, if you have any questions, there's no score that's too low, but there's always a score that can be repaired or brought up, right? And I want to help you do that, right? Because you can get your car, you can get your home, you can start your businesses, right? If you have good credit. And for the most part, most of us don't have a whole lot of cash, but credit will help serve us in getting some of the things we need. But we got to learn how to use it responsibly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that we can set up the next generations. So who can have more than we had, set them up on a positive track, on a positive road, so that their credit is good and they can go on. But yeah, those are the ways to contact me.
All right, awesome. So once again, thank you so much, Marvin. And again, we gotta have Marvin come back. Maybe we'll come back because I'm thinking the whole time you was talking. So I have office space, so we could do some workshops in my office. We could do some things, and
Yeah.
get enough people together. We can come and have conversation and talk
Yep.
about stuff and just grow together.
Yes.
So thank you so much because it's so important. And we see it everywhere. Everywhere you
Everywhere.
see credit repair, credit
Everywhere.
repair, credit repair,
Everywhere.
credit
Yep.
repair. But
Yep.
you want to get connected to someone who is authentic and
Yep.
has integrity.
Absolutely.
So thank you again, my brother. I appreciate you so much. You got to jump off because you got another
Thank you
commitment
so
to
much
go
for
to.
having me.
And I don't want to be the reason why you are late.
Please don't. Please don't.
No. So thank you so much again. And we're gonna do this again. We're gonna do
Yes.
this again. So because you got some nuggets I know to be able to share with people. So thank you again, my brother, for joining me as one of my
Absolutely.
super friends on Marcella and Friends. And until next time, y'all, on any given Monday, any given Tuesday.
I'm a super friend.
You can join us for some amazing conversation on purpose and hearing some of the amazing things that my super friends are doing today. So I love you all. Be blessed. Don't forget to take a moment and share this. If you were encouraged, if it blessed you, please take a moment and share it. I love you all. Until we meet again, peace and blessings into you. Don't forget, be a part of your own rescue. You got this.